Hey guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So I'm out here in the greenhouse and it's raining. Hopefully it's not going to get too loud out here and you'll be able to hear me just fine. If not, I'll have to do like I did the last time I was out here and it was raining and throw my plastic bag over the camera and head to the porch. What an interesting experience today. So, many of you are aware, well, most of you know that in addition to doing this YouTube channel, I am also a blogger. I have been a blogger for many years. My website is currently Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and that's where I have blogged for several years. At the end of this year, it's rebranding to agoodlifefarm.com, so it'll be the same as my channel here. But in addition to writing there, I have also been hired at times to write for different publications. I've done like regional restaurant guides, things like that, and I have a weekly column in my local newspaper that's all recipes, as well as a couple features that I do in a local magazine. And I'm afraid this is starting to get loud. Yeah, actually, before I get started on that, let me head to the porch, because this isn't going to let up anytime, I don't think. Let me check the radar. What do we got coming? Oh yeah. Steady rain. Alright. Let me head to the porch. Alright. So, as I was saying, in addition to writing for my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, and then, of course, later, agoodlifefarm.com, I also write for some local publications, and on a regular basis, I write for my local newspaper. I have a food feature, surprise, surprise, that is in there every week. And then I also write for a local magazine. It is a hyper-local magazine for my little town that I live in, and it's called Hearts of Living. So in every issue, I do some seasonal types of recipes, and then I also, on a pretty regular basis, will interview local restaurants. Now, it being a small town, there's not too many non-chain restaurants, but I interview as many of them as I can. Last issue, I actually stepped outside of the restaurant theme, and that is when I interviewed the Honeydew Farm that is here locally, that lovely family. And not only did I interview them for the magazine, but I also interviewed them for my channel. And so if you missed that, I will share a link either in a card if you're watching on YouTube or underneath this video in the description, so you can check that out. Very lovely family who started a CSA here in the area. So doing the job that I do, the writing particularly, it has really opened up a lot of doors for me and giving me a lot of opportunities that I would not have been able to do otherwise. And I originally started writing for the magazine and then later the newspaper because of my blog, because I am a local writer. They had reached out to me and asked me to come on board as one of their contributors. And so that is just one of the opportunities that I've gotten. I've gone on trips. A couple years ago, before the Rona hit, I went to Dollywood. I went on a trip to like southwestern Alabama where I went to a big old paper mill. So I've gotten to go on a lot of trips. I actually have another trip coming up in September, which I'm really excited about because, of course, you guys know how much I have a heart for agriculture. And this is going to be for, well, I won't share that just yet. You'll just have to wait and see. But it is agricultural related, and it's just another wonderful opportunity that I have been given. So, like you know, we were a military family. We lived all over the place. We have been exposed to all sorts of different cultures, whether it was through the locations that we lived, or the people we had for next door neighbors, or friends that we made through our military unit. We've been exposed to many different cultures, and I've been given recipes from all different places, and I loved being able to experience that myself, but also raise my children that way. So today I got to go and interview someone, and this was one of the most amazing experiences I have had. The people that I was interviewing, it's a couple who have a food truck, started a food truck, and then a while back, well, not too long ago, we've had this insanely wet Alabama summer, wetter than normal. And because of that, they had like a period of time where they could not use their food truck. And so they decided, well, we have to have a physical location here in Alabama. I don't know if all states have these rules, but in Alabama, you have to have a physical location for your food truck. It can't be your home. It has to be a commissary kitchen for your food truck. And they thought, well, since the weather's bad, we can't serve from our food truck, why don't we open up our commissary as a takeout location? And they did it just kind of as a little bit of an experiment because of the bad weather that they were having, or we were having, and realized it was a humongous hit. So they started doing all the things that they needed to do to the location to make it a permanent type of carry-out, curbside pickup sort of location. And so I went and I interviewed this family today, and wow, is all, I just, wow. They're Cuban immigrants, and now, number one, of course, the food is amazing. Yeah, they sent me home with food for me and food for Mr. Smith, and extras along the way, and I was blown away. So another day this week I'm going to go back and do some photos. But, sitting down with them and hearing their story, I'm going to get goosebumps, getting firsthand their experience in living in Cuba, living under a dictator, and the oppression that they suffered there. It was just astounding. The lady, her name is Selma, she was able to come over. Her grandmother was able to immigrate to the United States, and through her grandmother coming over, she was able to come as well. And her husband, Miguel, he didn't come over quite so easily. He came over in the 90s on a raft, and just hearing the story of how he got here, and about being on this little raft out in the middle of the water for 3 days, and how at night it was complete and total darkness where you could not see your hand in front of your face, just complete and total darkness, and how when the storms came, how terrifying it was because they didn't know if they would make it. Just the lightning coming down and there being nothing out there but them. It was astounding. When I do interviews like this, they usually last like 40 minutes to an hour. I was there for about 3 hours, and I will tell you, on more than one occasion, I found myself tearing up and having to wipe away tears and wishing I had some tissues. Hearing their story, hearing their gratitude for living here, and how they've been accepted in this small town that I live in, and how much they love our country. It was, I mean, I wish I could share it all with you, but there was a lot of that conversation that, yeah, you can imagine if you are familiar with Cuba's history. I'm sure you can imagine some of the conversations that we had. It was something else. But later this week, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to do some photography. Because today they weren't open. Today is one of their prep work sorts of days, and so I came and did the interview today, and then I'll go back later this week when they're actually serving and get some photos and some food to serve the family. But you know, we were talking about social media, since social media has kind of been my job for, you know, who knows how many years. And so we were kind of talking about different things, and I shared a few tips with them. And she said something about sharing recipes, and I had like this light bulb moment. I asked her if she would be willing, you know, I told her about my YouTube channel, about all of you guys. And I asked her, would you be willing to teach me how to cook a traditional Cuban dish and let me film that and share that with all of you guys? And she was all for it. She's like, oh yes, that sounds great. So I'm beyond thrilled. I mean, sitting down with this couple, and then their son actually came in. I got to meet him and hear his thoughts on life. Amazing people, just amazing people. I'll just say this, we don't know how good we have it here. We don't. And there's too many people in our world, in our nation, who take what we have for granted. And I will tell you that this family, they don't take it for granted. And they passionately want to protect what America is. I'll just say that. It was something else today. Just, yeah. I'm still like a little emotional about it, because it was an experience, and this is probably right up there with one of my top experiences of all the things that I've done over the years with my job. Yeah. So, and of course I found a new favorite restaurant here in Hartselle, Alabama. So I don't know when I will be sharing that video with all of you, the cooking tutorial from Selma. She said she's going to start thinking about some recipes, and she's going to come up with a recipe that can easily be made at home with like regular ingredients, so you don't need anything special. You don't have to be a super skilled cook to be able to make. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about that, Miguel actually suggested something, and Selma was like, oh no, that's not a good one. She's like, that took me years to master. She's like, that's not the right recipe. I'm like, oh no, we want something that people can make at home and enjoy. So I am really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. And I mean, I can't wait to do it. And so that's going to be something else, I know it. But in any case, you can probably hear the rain. It's coming steady now. So it's a good thing I got all of the mowing done yesterday that I needed to do, because as you can hear, that rain is steady, and you saw on my phone, it's just going to be non-stop for who knows how long. I actually need to run out here in a second before I go in the house to pick. There's a ripe melon on the trellis over there. Oh, speaking of melons, earlier in the year, might have even been back in the winter, one of my wonderful subscribers sent me a packet of seeds for some melons that I'd never grown. And I'm sure you saw them out here on the trellis just kind of going crazy. It's the Israeli melons, or Israel melons. And I had talked about how prolifically they were growing and how I really, really hoped I would be able to eat them, because I've developed some sensitivities and allergies to foods over the years. And melons in particular are something that I really struggle with. They're very hit or miss. Well, I took an Israeli melon to a friend's house the other day and cut it all up, and we all kind of shared it, and I just ate one little piece because I wasn't sure how my body would react. And oh my goodness, number one, it was amazing. It was so good. To me, and actually one of the other ladies who was there made this comment, and I'm like, oh, you're right, that is the perfect description. It tastes like a cross between a honeydew and a pear. I mean, imagine those two flavors together. That's what that Israeli melon tasted like. And I didn't have any reaction to it. So not only was it delicious, but it didn't like cause me to suffer. Yes. So I think I have found my new favorite melon. So I've got another one out there that looks like it is ready, so I need to grab it and take it into the house so that I can enjoy it. And I will definitely be saving the seeds. When I planted the Israel melons out here, I did not plant any other melon in this garden area, in my front garden, because if I really, really liked it, I didn't want it to cross-pollinate at all. Yes, so I'm definitely going to be saving these seeds. Alright, well, that's about it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the rainy front porch, and I cannot wait to share Selma with all of you guys. She's precious, and I know you're going to love her as much as I do. And if you happen to be somewhere here in northern Alabama, or if you are traveling through on I-65, because Hartselle, Alabama is right along the interstate, check their hours, check their Facebook page. I'll put a link to it down below. And definitely stop in and pick up something to eat, because it was really, really good. So that is it for today. Again, thanks for hanging out with me here. I will talk to y'all next time.